She only came to return his cloak. That is all. A simple errand born of stubborn honor. The palace guards laugh when they see her, this ragged woman in threadbare clothes clutching a fur-lined cloak worth more than she would earn in 10 lifetimes. They tell her to leave. They tell her beggars are not welcome. But Tamsin is not begging. She holds the cloak out and says, "This belongs to your king. I am returning it." The guards stop laughing, because the cloak bears the royal crest of House Valdrin. Only one man in the kingdom wears such a thing, the Alpha King Varek, conqueror of the Eastern realms, crusher of rebellions, the wolf who ended the 10-year war with blood and fire and left 3 kingdoms kneeling in his wake. They say he has never shown mercy. They say his enemies' bones line the roads to his palace, and this woman has walked into his fortress like she is delivering bread. The court falls silent when she is brought before him. She does not kneel, she does not beg. She simply holds out the cloak and says, "You dropped this, I am returning it." The king rises from his throne. Everyone waits for punishment, for the swift violence that surely follows such disrespect. But the king does not strike her. He walks toward her, each step echoing through the silent hall. Then he stops. His attention falls to her hands, and something shifts in his expression. The scars, the burns, the fingers that bend at wrong angles, frozen into claws by old breaks that never healed, hands that tell a story no words could speak. The Alpha King stares at her hands for a long moment. His jaw tightens. A muscle ticks beneath his eye. Then he turns to his guard and says 3 words that will change everything. "Assemble the kingdom." Why would the most feared ruler in the realm summon his entire kingdom for one ragged stranger who only came to return a cloak? Tamsin's hands had stopped aching 3 winters ago. The nerves had finally died. Now her fingers simply did not feel, not the cold, not the heat, not the pain that should have come when she gripped things wrong. She supposed that was a mercy. "Stay close," she murmured, glancing at the small figure beside her. Wren nodded, her dark eyes enormous in her thin face. The child had not spoken a single word in 2 years, not since the tunnel collapse that killed her mother and 36 other workers. Tamsin had pulled her from the rubble and carried her through 3 miles of darkness to reach the surface. When the final collapse came 6 months later, the one that killed 47 more and freed the 8 survivors, Tamsin had carried Wren out again. The overseers declared them dead in the records and told them to disappear. So they disappeared together. The palace of Valdmir rose in the distance, black stone towers clawing at gray sky. Tamsin had never seen it before. For 7 years she had lived within its kingdom's borders, first as a healer in a village that no longer existed, then as a prisoner dragged from the ashes and thrown into King Varek's labor camps for the crime of surviving. She had dug his iron. She had hauled his stone. She had watched others die in tunnels that collapsed without warning. She had never seen the palace that all of it built. "We could turn back," she said. Wren looked up at her. 2 slow blinks, questioning. "I know." Tamsin touched the cloak bundled under her arm. "I know we cannot." She had found it 4 days ago, tangled in brambles beside the eastern road. The silver crest of House Valdrin marked it as the Alpha King's own. Any sensible person would have sold it. The fur alone could feed them for a year. But Tamsin's mother had taught her something before the soldiers came. "We do not keep what is not ours," her mother had said. "No matter how much we need it. Honor is what remains when everything else is taken." Everything else had been taken. Honor was all Tamsin had left. The gates loomed ahead. Tamsin's step faltered. Wren's hand tightened around her fingers. "I know," Tamsin whispered. "I am afraid too. But we are walking through those gates anyway." Wren nodded once. They walked forward together. The first guard laughed when she told him her purpose. The second threatened arrest. The third saw the crest and went pale. "Wait here," he said. They waited 2 hours in the cold. Finally, a servant appeared. "The king will see you," she said. Her voice held something Tamsin could not identify. Fear, perhaps, or pity. The throne room was vast and cold and filled with people who looked at Tamsin like she was filth. She kept her eyes forward. She kept her spine straight. She kept walking. Ren's hand pressed against her palm. Not a squeeze. Just presence. "I am here." Tamsin held on. The nobles whispered as she passed. Beggar. Peasant. Filthy. She ignored them. She had been called worse in the camps. The throne sat at the far end, raised on black stone, and on the throne sat a man who made the air feel heavier simply by existing, Alpha King Varek of House Valdrin. He was younger than she expected. The stories made him sound ancient. But the man on the throne could not be older than 30 winters. Dark hair fell to his shoulders. A scar ran from his left temple to his mouth, white against sun-darkened skin. And his eyes. Deep forest green, cold as the bottom of a winter lake where things went to drown. Those eyes watched her approach. Missed nothing. Tamsin stopped at the base of the dais. She did not kneel. Her knees had never healed correctly after the cave-in. She simply held out the cloak. "Your Majesty, this belongs to you. I found it on the Eastern Road. I am returning it." Silence. A man beside the throne leaned forward with a sneer. Tall, thin, silver-haired, calculating. "You expect us to believe a creature like you simply found the king's cloak?" His voice dripped contempt. "Guards, seize her and the child. We will learn the truth in the dungeons." Ren pressed closer, trembling. Tamsin did not move. "I stole nothing. I am returning it." "Lies." The silver-haired man spat. "I know what you are. I can smell the labor camps on you. You are an escaped criminal." "I served my sentence. The tunnel collapsed. The overseers declared us dead and told us to disappear." The throne room went silent. The man's face twisted. He opened his mouth. Enough. One word. Absolute authority. The king had risen. He descended the steps, tall and broad, radiating presence that pressed against her skin. He stopped directly in front of her. "The cloak," he said. Tamsin extended her arms. He did not take it. His attention had dropped. Her hands. She watched his expression change. The cold assessment flickered. His jaw clenched. His brow furrowed. He reached out. His fingers closed around her wrist with startling gentleness. He turned her hand over. Palm up. The scars told their story. Circular burns from red-hot iron. Deep gouges where chains had cut to bone. Fingers bent at wrong angles from breaks never properly set. His thumb traced one scar, then another. "Who did this?" His voice dropped low. Tamsin did not answer. She did not need to. His kingdom had done this. His mines. His camps. The king released her wrist. Stepped back. His hands curled into fists. He turned to the silver-haired man. "Chancellor Morthane, how many labor camps operate within my kingdom?" The chancellor paled. "Your Majesty, I hardly think—" "How many?" 14. "And what are the conditions?" "Efficient, productive, as you requested." The king looked at Tamsin's hands, then back at the chancellor. "Assemble the kingdom," he said. The chancellor's mouth fell open. "Your Majesty?" "Send riders to every village, every corner of Waldmeyer. I want every citizen assembled in 3 days, every noble, every soldier." His eyes swept the crowd. "And bring the overseers from all 14 camps, in chains." Silence. "Your Majesty, the expense—" "Did I ask for your opinion?" The chancellor closed his mouth. The king turned to Tamsin. His expression softened a fraction. "You will stay. You and the child. Rooms, food, whatever you require. In 3 days, You will stand beside me. Tamsin blinked. I do not understand. You will. He looked at her hands again. I promise you will. He turned and walked away, leaving chaos in his wake. Ren tugged Tamsin's sleeve. 2 quick tugs. Danger? I do not know, Tamsin whispered. They were given rooms in the eastern tower. Tamsin had never slept in a bed this soft. Ren had no such reservations. The child fell asleep within moments. Tamsin sat by the window and watched stars appear. The palace hummed below. Riders leaving, servants rushing. All because a king looked at her hands. A knock came, soft but firm. She opened it to find servants with food, clothing, and water for washing. They called her "My Lady" 3 times. She ate standing up because the chair felt too comfortable. She did not sleep. At dawn, Captain Brindis of the King's Guard came for her. The king wishes to speak with you privately. Tamsin glanced at sleeping Ren. The child will be watched, Brindis said. I give you my word. She hesitated. I saw what the king saw yesterday, Brindis continued. Your hands. And I watched his face. She paused. In 12 years of service, I have never seen him look like that. Like what? Like someone had gutted him and he had to stand there and let them finish. Tamsin followed. The king's study was smaller than expected. Fire burning low, maps everywhere. Varric stood before the fire, back to her. Do you know why I conquered the Eastern Realms? He asked. Power. Territory. No. He turned. His face was tired. I was told they were suffering. Famine. Plague. Tyrant lords. My advisor said conquest would be mercy. He crossed to the desk. 3 days ago, I believed I ruled a kingdom that had recovered from war. Chancellor Morthane gave me glowing reports. I believed him. He looked at her hands. Then you walked into my throne room. He picked up papers. After you left, I pulled every record on the camps, 14 camps, established 6 years ago. I signed the decree myself because Morthane said prisoners could work off sentences contributing to prosperity. His laugh was bitter. Prosperity. He walked toward her. Do you know how many people have died in those camps? No. Neither do I, because the records track productivity, output, units of labor. He stopped before her. Human beings reduced to numbers, and I did not know. Tamsin looked at him. Past the scars and severity, she saw exhaustion, guilt. A man standing in the wreckage of his own ignorance. Why tell me this? Because in 3 days I will tell my entire kingdom what I allowed to happen, and I want you to tell them what it was like. What was done to you? Tamsin's stomach dropped. You want me to speak? I want you to witness, if you are willing. And if I refuse? Then you refuse. You will still have rooms, food, safety. He paused. I will not force this. She thought of the tunnels, the 47 dead, the hundreds before and after. I will do it. He exhaled. Thank you. He extended his hand, palm up. Tamsin looked at it. A king's hand, capable of signing decrees that destroyed villages, but also a hand that had traced her scars with gentleness. She placed her hand in his. His fingers closed around hers carefully. I cannot undo what was done, he said, but I can make sure it never happens again. Will you help me? Yes. He led her toward the door. There is something else you should see. They descended into the palace depths, a corridor lined with iron doors, a prison. The king stopped before the last door. 3 hours ago, my guards arrested 4 overseers from Camp Valdrin. 1 carried documents, payment records, bribes sent to Chancellor Morthane for 6 years, bribes to ensure conditions were never reported. He opened the door. Inside, chained to the wall, was Overseer Heron, the one who had broken her fingers one by one because she paused to rest. He was not laughing now. This man hurt you. the king said. Tamsin could not speak. He will face public trial, along with every overseer and Morthane himself. He looked at her. I wanted you to see him first. In chains. I wanted you to know you are not powerless anymore. Something inside her cracked open. Something locked away for 6 years. She started to cry. Real tears, the kind that shook her whole body. The king said nothing. He simply stood beside her and waited. When she stopped, he spoke again. You are safe now. I swear it on my crown. No one will ever hurt you like that again. Tamsin looked at him through swollen eyes. Why do you care? I am no one. Pain crossed his features. Because someone once told me that the measure of a ruler is how he treats those who cannot help him. I forgot that. He looked at her hands. You reminded me. He turned toward the stairs. Come, there is a child upstairs wondering where you have gone. Tamsin wiped her face and followed the king into the light. Behind her, Overseer Heron began to scream. She did not look back. Tamsin woke to the smell of bread and the sound of humming. She sat up. The room was too warm, and Wren sat by the fire, arranging pastries into patterns. Wren looked up and smiled. Tamsin's heart clenched. She had not seen Wren smile like that in months. Where did you get those? Wren pointed at the door, then made a gesture. Claws. A crown. The king brought you pastries? Emphatic nod. Tamsin stared at the door. The Alpha King had personally delivered breakfast to a mute orphan. She did not know what to make of that. Captain Brindis arrived. The king requests your presence in the library. The child may come. When they reached the library, Varric stood at a window watching riders stream through the gates. He turned when they entered. His attention found Wren first, and his severe expression eased. Did you enjoy the pastries? Wren held up 3 fingers. You ate 3? Nod. Good. Growing children should eat well. Tamsin watched this exchange with a strange feeling. You are staring, Varric said. You brought her breakfast yourself. The servants were occupied. It was efficient. You could have sent anyone. I could have. He met her eyes. I did not. The morning passed in preparation. Varric explained what the assembly would entail. Your truth is yours, he said. Speak it however you wish. How many people? 12,000, possibly more. I cannot. The words escaped before she could stop them. I am not made for this. I dig tunnels. I keep one small child alive. That is all I know. You walked into my throne room and looked me in the eye when warriors cannot do the same. His voice was firm but kind. You are made of stronger things than you believe. She shook her head. You survived 6 years in those camps. You walked out. You saved a child in the darkness. He stepped closer. Do not tell me what you cannot do. I have seen what you can. No one had ever spoken to her like this. Why does this matter to you? The question came out rough. You have a kingdom to run. Why spend time preparing a camp survivor to speak? He was silent for a moment. Because I have spent 10 years believing I was building something good. And then you walked in with your ruined fingers and your stubborn honor. And I realized I had built nothing good at all. He met her eyes. You matter because you are proof of my failure, and helping you is the only way I know to begin fixing it. Tamsin stared at him. You did not know about the camps. You truly did not. Does that make it better? No, but it makes you different than I thought. Different how? I thought you were a monster, but monsters do not bring pastries to mute children. I am still the man who signed the decree. Yes. She held his eyes. But you are also the man trying to tear it down. That counts for something. The library fell silent. Varric reached out. His fingers brushed hers. I will not fail you, he said. I swear it. And for the first time in 6 years, she let herself believe someone might keep their promise. The day before the assembly, Wren spoke her first word in 2 years. They were sitting in the palace gardens. Wren had found winter flowers, tiny white blossoms pushing through frost. Footsteps approached, heavy, familiar. Varric walked toward them. He looked tired. Wren held up one of the flowers. Varric crouched beside her. Moon's tears. They only bloom in the coldest weeks. My mother used to say they were the sky crying for the sun. Wren tilted her head, then held the flower out to him. He took it carefully. Thank you. I will treasure it. Wren smiled. And then, so softly Tamsin almost missed it, she whispered, King. Everyone froze. Tamsin stared at Wren, at her small mouth forming a word for the first time in 2 years. What did you say? Wren pointed at Varric and said it again. King. Tamsin burst into tears. 2 years of silence. 2 years of wondering if Wren would ever speak again. And now this. Varric rose. His eyes had gone very soft. She spoke. Tamsin managed. I heard. He extended his hand. Tamsin took it without thinking, and suddenly she was standing close to him. You did this, she whispered. I did nothing. She chose to speak. She chose the word. He paused. I am honored she chose me. Wren tugged his cloak. When he looked down, she raised her arms. He hesitated, glanced at Tamsin. She nodded. He lifted Wren with careful gentleness. The child settled against his chest immediately. This, Tamsin thought. This is what safety looks like. How touching. The voice came from behind, cold, cultured. A woman approached. Tall, elegant, silver-streaked dark hair, black silk dress embroidered with wolves. Beautiful, the way a blade was beautiful. Varric stiffened. Mother, he said. The Queen Mother. I see you have found new pets. Her eyes moved over Tamsin with contempt. First you arrest my chancellor. Now I find you holding peasant children like a common nursemaid. Morthane was arrested because he is a criminal. He is efficient. He is a murderer. The Queen Mother's attention cut to Tamsin. You have caused trouble, camp girl. My son was manageable before you arrived. I will not have my work undone by a scarred peasant. You will not speak to her like that, Varric said. I will speak however I please. You are a guest in my palace. Treat my guests with respect, or guest elsewhere. The Queen Mother's eyes narrowed. You have changed. I do not care for it. I do not require your approval. No, she smiled thinly, but you may yet require my help when your assembly falls apart. She walked away. Varric stood motionless until she disappeared. Then he exhaled. Wren patted his cheek. I apologize for her, he said to Tamsin. You cannot apologize for someone else's cruelty. Wren reached out and took both their hands, linking them together with her small fingers between. Tamsin's breath caught. Varric's eyes met hers. Neither of them pulled away. That night, Varric summoned Tamsin to his study. Wren was asleep. Guards posted. Captain Brindis standing watch. The study was warm, lit by dying embers. Varric stood by the window. Close the door, he said. She did. He was silent for a long moment. Tomorrow I will confess my failures before the kingdom. But first I need to tell you something I should have told you the moment I saw your hands. What? The village you came from. Where was it? The question hit her like a blow. Thornwick, she said. Eastern border. Varric closed his eyes. I know that name. I know it because I gave the order. The world stopped. What? 7 years ago, the Eastern Campaign. My generals reported a village harboring enemy soldiers. I ordered it razed. Tamsin's legs would not hold her. She grabbed a chair. You burned my village. You killed your mother. His voice cracked. I believed there were no survivors. I moved to the next battle. I never thought about it again until 3 days ago. He crossed to her. I killed your mother. I made you an orphan. I put you in those camps. Everything that was done to you traces back to me. Tamsin looked at him. This man who had shown her kindness, who had held Ren like she was precious. The man who had destroyed everything she loved. Did you know? In the throne room. Did you know who I was? No. I swear it. Would you have helped me if you had known? I want to say yes. But 3 days ago, I was a different man. Tamsin stared at him. My mother's name was Sarah. She was a healer. She taught me about honor. She died screaming my name because I hid like she told me to. Varric flinched. I have hated you for 6 years, Tamsin continued. I kept myself alive on hatred. She stepped closer. And now I look at you, and I do not know what to feel. Because the monster from my nightmares does not bring pastries to orphans or weep over camp records. Her voice broke. How am I supposed to hate you when you are trying so hard to be good? Varric reached for her, stopped himself. You should hate me. I will accept it. What if I do not want to hate you? His breath caught. Then I do not know what comes next. I only know I want to try. If you will let me. Tamsin thought of her mother. People could change. The worst mistake could become the beginning of something better. Are you willing to do the work? Yes. Whatever it takes. She nodded. Tomorrow. Tell them everything. The camps. Thornwick. All of it. She met his eyes. And I will stand beside you. Not because I forgive you, but because my mother would have wanted me to believe change is possible. Varric's face crumpled. Thank you, he whispered. Tamsin turned toward the door. Tamsin. She stopped. I will spend the rest of my life making this right. I will prove it. Every day. She closed her eyes, let the words settle, then she walked out. Behind her, she heard the sound of the Alpha King allowing himself to weep. The morning of the assembly arrived cold and bitter. Tamsin dressed in the deep green dress laid out for her. Soft boots, wolf fur cloak. She looked in the mirror and did not recognize herself. A knock came. A young servant with nervous eyes. My lady, there is a situation. The child's records require verification before the assembly. The magistrate insists. Something felt wrong. I will bring her myself. Protocol requires only the child. Please, my lady. If the paperwork is not completed, she may be removed from the palace. Tamsin looked at Ren. She could not risk it. Very well. She crouched beside Ren. Go with this man. I will come find you soon. Ren's brow furrowed. She made the gesture for bad. I know, but I need you to be brave. Ren nodded. Tamsin watched her walk away. The unease did not fade. It grew. She waited 20 minutes, then left. The corridors were empty. No servants, no guards. The east tower was cold and dark. At the top, she found a door ajar. She pushed it open. Ren sat bound and gagged in a chair. Ren! The door slammed behind her. The Queen Mother stood there with 4 armed guards. How predictable, she said. A mother's love. Tamsin's blood turned to ice. Let her go. I think not. The Queen Mother moved forward. You have caused trouble. My son was manageable before you arrived. I spent his entire life shaping him. I will not have my work undone. The assembly will proceed without you. You will have disappeared. My son will be heartbroken but will recover. Without you reminding him of failures, he will return to the ruthless king this kingdom requires. He will know. Will he? I convinced him his entire life that his violent rages were his own flaw rather than poison in his wine. The words hit like a blade. Poison. You have been drugging him? A mild compound induces aggression. Very useful for ensuring a young king remains dependent on his mother. Very useful for justifying wars. Tamsin stared at her. You are a monster. I am a queen. She gestured to her guards. Take them to the north cliff. Make it look like an accident. The guards moved forward. Tamsin grabbed a heavy candlestick and swung. One guard dropped, but there were three more. They seized her, forced her to her knees. Wren screamed. A single word. King! The Queen Mother laughed. Scream all you like. No one is coming. The door exploded inward. Through the wreckage came the largest wolf Tamsin had ever seen. Black as midnight, eyes blazing, teeth bared. The Alpha King had come. The wolf moved like death. 3 guards fell in seconds. The 4th fled through the window. He did not survive the drop. The Queen Mother stood frozen. Varric. Her voice wavered. This is not what it looks like. The wolf snarled. I am your mother. Everything I have done has been for you. The wolf shifted. Bones cracking, muscles reshaping. Varric stood there breathing hard, his eyes fixed on his mother. She poisoned you, Tamsin shouted, struggling to her feet. Your whole life. The rages, the violence. It was never you. It was her. Varric's expression shattered. He turned to his mother. His voice came out broken. Is it true? The Queen Mother's composure cracked. I did what was necessary. Is it true? Silence. Then, defiantly, yes. Varric staggered as if she had struck him. My entire life. The violence I thought lived inside me. The wars I started to channel it. The guilt I carried. His voice dropped to something barely human. You made me believe I was broken. I made you a king. You made me a murderer. He turned away, crossed to where Wren sat bound, and freed her with shaking hands. The child threw herself into his arms. I have you, he murmured. You are safe. Behind him, the Queen Mother moved. Tamsin saw the blade. Varric! She threw herself forward. The dagger meant for his heart found her shoulder. Pain exploded. White hot. Absolute. Varric's roar shook the stones. The wolf burst forth. His jaws closed around the Queen Mother's arm. The dagger clattered. Guards poured through the doorway. Captain Brindis commanding. Seize her! The wolf released the Queen Mother. She crumpled, clutching her mangled arm. Varric shifted back, dropped beside Tamsin. No. His hands pressed against her shoulder. Stay with me. She tried to focus. The edges of her vision were going dark. Wren. Is Wren safe? Brindis has her. His voice broke. You saved me. Had to. Could not let her hurt you. I am supposed to protect you. You did. She tried to smile. You came. I will always come. The darkness closed in. The last thing she heard was his voice. Healer! Someone get me a healer! Tamsin woke to warmth and sunlight and humming. She turned her head. Her shoulder throbbed. Wren sat beside her bed, arranging flowers in a vase. She looked up when Tamsin stirred. Tamsin, you woke up. Clear and strong. I did. Wren scrambled onto the bed. I was scared. You slept for 3 days. I am sorry I frightened you. I am here now. Footsteps. Heavy. Familiar. Varric appeared in the doorway. He looked terrible. Dark circles. Rumpled clothes. He also looked beautiful. You are awake, he breathed. So I am told. He crossed in 3 strides and dropped to his knees. His hand found hers. I thought I had lost you. I am difficult to kill. Do not joke. His grip tightened. When I saw that blade, your blood, I understood something. What? He lifted her hand to his lips. That I cannot live in a world without you. He met her eyes. Whatever shape this kingdom takes, I want you beside me for all of it. The assembly. What happened? It proceeded. I told them everything. The camps. The poisoning. Thornwick. Many called for abdication. And? I offered to step down. A ghost of a smile. But the noble council decided otherwise. They wanted me to finish what I started. So you are still king? Yes. He hesitated. And I am asking you to be my queen. The world stopped. Not for politics, not for obligation, only because I love you. Since you walked into my throne room with my cloak and defiance in your eyes, I will love you until my last breath. I am a camp survivor, from a village you burned. You are the woman who reminded me what honor looks like, who saved my life, who taught me change is possible. He pressed his forehead to their joined hands. You are everything. Ren tugged Tamsin's sleeve. Say yes. He is very sad when you are not there. He paces and makes grumpy faces. I do not make grumpy faces, Varric muttered. You do. Despite everything, Tamsin laughed. My mother believed people could change. She touched his scarred face. Yes. His eyes went wide. Yes? Yes. I will stay. I will help you rebuild, and apparently stop your grumpy pacing. Varric laughed, warm and full. Then he kissed her. Gentle, a promise, a beginning. When they broke apart, Ren was beaming. Now we are a family. A real one. Varric pulled them both close. Yes, we are. Outside, the sun broke through clouds. Bells rang. The kingdom was beginning again. And in a small room filled with warmth and light, a family was born from wreckage. Tamsin closed her eyes and believed in happy endings. Thank you for listening. I hope this story touched your heart. These stories exist because of you. Because you listen, share, and return. That means more than you know. Until next time.